You're listening to The Artist Athlete, episode 16, mijo. This podcast is dedicated to circus. It's a place for professionals in the industry to share their stories, viewpoints, and information, and a place for outsiders to get information about this amazing art form. Hey friends, fans, and enemies. I'm Shannon McKenna, and I'm the host of the Artist Athlete podcast and the founder of theartistathlete.com. This podcast is currently funded by me, which, as a circus artist, isn't quite a sustainable business model. Luckily, there's Patreon.com, a platform that allows you to make monthly donations to the Artist Athlete podcast. My first goal is to get monthly donations of $500 to cover the entire cost of podcast production. At the time of this recording, we're at $64, so we've got a ways to go. You can help out by going to www.patreon.com/theartistathlete. Listeners who give a $5 a month or more donation get early access to episodes, you get entered to win prizes, and a whole bunch more. But for sure, you can give as little or as much as you want. Please check it out and sign up to be a Patreon today. Again, it's www.patreon.com/theartistathlete. My guest today is super cool. She Skyped me from Romania. She's Argentinian, and I was in the US, 'cause the internet. Her name is Mariana Silva, and along with her partner, Juan Cruz Bracamonte, they make up Mandragora Circo, a wordless circus theater production that has been touring the world non-stop since 2003. That's right, these two have been on the road for almost 15 years and visited over 47 countries. In my interview, Mariana explains how they got their start and how they've managed to live a life of consistent travel and performing. Here's my interview with Mandragora Circo. Thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed.
Oh, thank you for thinking about us. It's a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. You are actually very popular. Someone wrote to me and said, I know of these two Argentinian clowns and they have this beautiful show and you have to have them on your podcast.
Oh, wow.
So I did some research and I internet stalked you all and I was like, yeah, I have to talk to these people.
Wow, great. Sounds very good.
Yeah. So, Mariana, yeah?
Yes.
And your partner is Juan?
Yes.
Cool. And can you tell our audience who you are and a little bit about yourself?
So we are Mandragora Circus. We are a couple of artists from Argentina. We have been working together for more than 15 years in a show which is a wordless theater performance in which we combine circus with theater and music. And since 2003, we have been performing these shows, always touring, first in Argentina, all over the country. And now, since 8 years, we have been touring all around the world, traveling from one country to the other. And after 8 years of continuous travel or tour, we have been in 47 countries in 4 continents.
That's so cool. So I want to ask about, oh yeah, go ahead.
And we are independent artists.
Yeah, so do you have an agency who books you or you do all of your own bookings?
We do everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, most of the time it's like we do a show and someone recommend us to go to another place, or we receive invitations after one show. So this is how we move because people call us and everything. But yes, we do all by ourselves.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. I want to ask you more about that, but I kind of want to start at the beginning of your journey. Um,
Yeah.
but I was curious, what does Mandragora, what does it mean?
Yes, Mandragora is a plant. So in English you can find it like a mandrake. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's this plant that have a myth that when you take out from the ground, the plant scream, and only magician can use it and things like that.
Oh, that's cool. It's magical
Yeah,
in a way.
yes, it's magical, and in one is only one plant represent the animal and vegetal world because of this thing that the plant scream. So it's like a kind of human plant also. So it's like the plant of the duality.
Uh-huh.
So involve everything like female and male, darkness and light, black and white. So it represent a lot of what we are as a duo. We are a couple. We are working together. So it represent a lot of that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And how did you begin? Where did you meet?
Uh, and around 1999,
Mhm.
we were in Argentina, both of us, uh, working in the arts in different fields. Juan was more in music, and I was more in theater. We met together in a circus workshop. And in that moment, we always were meeting one each other, and then we had the opportunity to work together in one show, and then we were doing different scenes, and then we had like the same idea of what we want to do with the arts, with all these techniques that we were learning and everything, and this is how Mandragora Circus began.
Oh, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
how did you, did you come from theater?
Yes, I was doing theater when I was young. Yes.
Okay. And circus was kind of like you learned it through workshops, or did you have any schooling in circus as well?
No, only through workshops.
Okay.
At that time in Argentina, there was no school, not no official school. It was a kind of a very new, this all this new circus tendency. So I was doing only workshops. Yeah,
Okay. And so you two got together and you had this vision, this beautiful vision for this show. How long
yeah.
did it take for you to create the show?
The show take us like 1 month to create. It was Juan who wrote the show, but the script and everything, and then but it was 1 year that we were performing and still making change in the shows, like because we are clowns, so there are a lot of gags and scene that we were creating during the process that we were doing the performance at the beginning, because the gags, the jokes of the clown, we were like doing the show and doing some little improvisations that now are part of the show.
I see. So, like in that first year, you were kind of changing things and figuring out what was working and not working so much. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Because we need the audience to really understand the communication of these characters with the audience to see what work, what no. So yes, it was 1 year that we were like putting new things all the time.
And can you tell me a little bit? I've seen some video and it all looks very beautiful, but I'm interested in hearing you talk about the story of the show without giving anything away.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The show is like to say simple. Is a story. Is a love story of two clowns. So these two characters they met on the stage. One has something, the other one is like he wants that, and from there start like a long way of relationship with like all the relationships. You have moment when everything is going very well, and then suddenly something happen. Someone can make a mistake or some misunderstanding between the characters. But all these situations are goes through circus, through music, through a lot of surprise. So there are many things that are happening, and then magical moments, because there are tools on stage that became um, unexpected scenes, like music that start to sound from different objects that we have on the stage, and then some a lot of situation that happens to the characters. There are moments where we get the audience into the stage because the character feel like they need someone else, maybe not comfortable with the person that they have, so they prefer to look for someone else and things like that. But at the end, is everything very good.
Gotcha. So it's the story of a relationship.
Yes, and the magical scene of this relationship, because the show is wordless, so we don't speak in the show, but even though everyone can understand, and the relationships is not exactly like when people see the show, uh, everyone can feel reflected with the show and with the character and with the story, and even that we are a female and male on the stage, um, it could be the relationship of any kind of couple in a way, not necessarily like a love story of a female and male that get married. It's not that kind of story. It's the relationship that you can have with your friends, with your brothers, with your grandma, with everyone. It's like how human beings get related in life, and always these kind of things happen, and doesn't matter what age you have, which culture are you, or which country, or nothing of that. You for sure will have this kind of situation in your life.
And you said in that first year you workshopped it, but you've been performing it for 15 years. Has the show changed at all since that first year?
I think it has changed a lot, but at the same time, it's always the same. So that is something is kind of strange, because, of course, we did some changes the first year, but after that, we let it, like, we say, okay, it's like this, and we don't need to touch it anymore. But sometimes we still add some little scenes because we feel inspiration, or we feel that we need to change or add little details mostly. But the show keeps always the same, and which is very interesting for us, because even that, every time we have to perform, for us is a challenge. We never know what will happen. We never know how the audience will react or everything. So we feel all this energy and all this adrenaline to go to the stage every time we go.
And did you know when you created it that you would be doing it for the next 15 years? Did you have this in mind?
No, absolutely no. It was so challenging at that time, because we were, of course, we were very young, like it was 15 years ago. And we had, at that moment, we were having a lot of dreams, of course. And because the show was created by ourselves, it's all our own inspiration. So we didn't uh, get inspiration from other arts or from other shows that we were watching. It was shows what we feel at that moment, what we put on the stage. So it was absolutely very challenging, because at that moment to do a show without speak was absolutely strange. It wasn't common, mostly in the circus field, and to tell a story of only with two characters and without any words, and using circles, but in a stage, in a theater, uh, when we think in that time in 2003, it was completely new, and we just were like, okay, what if we can do this and this and this, but we didn't have any expectation. We were just thinking, we hope the people will understand what we want to tell them.
Well, it sounds like people have all over the world.
Yeah, now that when we look back, it's like we cannot even imagine that we will go so far with this show.
Yeah. And so how did it start? You started, do you remember even the very first performance?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where was it? What
Yeah,
happened?
we have an accident because that first show we use an instrument with a violin bow, and at the moment of play the violin, the bow was broke during the show. So imagine we always remember that show. But even though we could fix it on stage, and everything was very good. And what happened since the very beginning was that we finished the first show, and someone came to talk with us and told us, uh, I really like the show. How are you, and what are you doing next? Because I would like you to perform in some place after 2 weeks from now. And we say, okay, we can manage to do it, and blah blah blah. So we got another show. And since that moment, it was always like that. Every time we perform a show, someone came to talk, or someone say, I will talk with my friend who has a theater, and maybe you can go there, or something like this. And even today, it's still happening like this. So we didn't plan it like, okay, now we are going to start a tour, an international tour, and we will go all over the world. We just went to one country, and suddenly we are where we are now.
All over 48 countries later. Is it 48?
47.
47.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite countries to perform in?
Oh, that's very difficult because we like everywhere. I mean, we have been in 15 countries in Africa, 18 countries in the Americas, lots of countries in Europe and in Asia, but we don't have a favorite. It's like we like everywhere. If we go to perform, we have been in New York, we like a lot. We have been in Kenya, we like a lot. In India, in China, everywhere.
And when you travel, do you bring all of your equipment with you to every continent?
Yeah, we travel. So we don't have a lot of luggage because the show is very easy to carry. We have one big luggage for the show, another big luggage for the aerial, and very small luggage for our personal stuff like the clothes and everything, and one backpack which is the accordion. And then this is it, more or less.
One backpack for the accordion.
Yes.
Always very important for the accordion.
Yeah, the accordion travel with us, and it's a carry-on luggage, so we can go in the plane with the accordion and be sure that it will be safe.
Yeah. And I saw in the video you have a trapeze on the stage as well.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to figure out if the theaters are able to hang a trapeze or not? Do you call ahead of time, or how do you know?
Yeah, well, this is something that we have in this show. We have two aerial acts, the trapeze and the tissue, the fabric. So usually we send all the requirements before in advance, not only for the aerial, also for the instrument, for the music. And when the theater doesn't have the possibility to hang, we can adapt the show and do it without the aerial acts. So we still tell the story because like the most important thing in the show is the story, but of course it's something that is missing. So we most of the time we try to go to theater where they have the possibility to hang, but even if it's not too high, we can adapt the act to do it in 4 meters, 3 meters and a half, or something like this.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because sometimes we go to theater that they don't have the structure, or they need to put something to be able to do it, or things like that. So we have been in many different spaces, and all the time we try to make it possible.
And what are some of your favorite festivals to perform at?
We like a theater festival a lot. The ones that bring all kind of arts, not only theater or circus, but they have like a dance, theater, circus, puppet. Those kind of festival we love. So now, for example, we are in Romania. We have been performing in a theater which is focused in children's theater, so it's more performance only for children. But before we were in China in a festival which was for all the audience, so with different kind of performance, and that we like a lot. And in particular, our show is for everyone. So when we perform in the afternoon for the children, we enjoy a lot. But then when we have to perform at night and it's only for adults, we also like this kind of experience.
Do you feel like the content changes depending on your audience? I mean, obviously you're still doing the same thing, but do you make any kind of changes to the show depending on your audience?
Yeah, I mean, the show, as you say, is the same, but when the audience is different, we change a lot the energy of the characters. So it's not the same because the characters are clowns. So it's not the same energy when we do some acts or some shows in front of a lot of children, that when we do the same thing in front of only adults. So of course, yes, we change a lot, like the energy, so we can go faster or slow or with more delicate movement depending of the audience. For example, in India, we were in last January, and one of the show was in a very little town, and they were all adults people, and the audience were feeling during the show that were a little bit shy, like no clapping, very silent audience, but at the end it was like an explosion. So when we feel this kind of audience that they are not absolutely silent, but we feel that still they are connected with the show, we change immediately. We change the energy of the character, and so we do the same, but with different. I don't know how to exactly say, but with different uh, energy. All the time I say the same word, but it's that. So that makes the show different, even that it's the same show.
I'm just trying to think, how did you wind up in a little town in India? You know, you have like, it makes sense if you have a festival or something and a producer comes up to you and says, "Oh, I have a theater in, Buenos Aires that you can go do a show in," and it would go, "Oh, yeah, I have a friend in New York." But then how
Yeah.
does this lead you to tiny towns in India?
Yeah, that's very interesting because, for example, in this case, we were in India in a festival, in a theater festival in the city of Pune. And so we were there, and after the show, there was a person, he's a critic of theater, so he was doing like interviews to the performers, talking about the process of the show and a lot of things about the show with the audience still on the theater. So after this interview, he was talking a little bit more with us, and he told us there is a very senior person of theater here in India, and I will talk with him about you, and maybe you can go to perform in his place, which is in South India. And so we were like, okay, yes, that could be very interesting. And after a few days, we got an email from this person, and he invited us to perform in his place. So we discovered that he has like a kind of laboratory for theater where he met a lot of actors and they create performance. So we were living with them for a couple of weeks and not only performing but also sharing some workshops about theater and traditional techniques from India. And we did, of course, a workshop in circus for the performance. So after the first show that we did there, this person told us to go to perform to this very little city in South India. So we ended up doing a show in this place, yes, in this way.
That's so cool. Did you travel by train to go there?
Yeah, we were traveling in India, all over India by train, which was an amazing experience. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was in India last year and I went by train everywhere and I loved it so much.
Yeah, we too. We like it a lot because to travel with all the luggage is very like, okay, we can put everything there. And yes, it was a totally new experience, but it was very good.
This podcast is brought to you by The Artist Athlete. Did you know that The Artist Athlete is more than just a podcast? It's a growing online resource for students of the aerial arts to deepen their journey to badassery by accessing techniques approved by physical therapists and master coaches in the industry. Our current spotlight is on the fundamentals of aerial alignment, a practical manual for hanging upside down. This online manual is a step-by-step guide. It is complete with photos, videos, and exercises that you can implement immediately to help you gain the strength and awareness you need for an aerial practice that promotes shoulder health and longevity and good posture upright, so you don't walk around like a gorilla. But don't just take my word for it. Here's circus physical therapist Dr. Jen Crane of Cirque Physio to tell you more.
The fundamentals of aerial alignment is an absolute must-have for every aerialist of every level. I can't even tell you how many shoulder injuries I treat that are a direct result of rushing past the basics and attempt to get a trick too soon. In the manual, Shannon deconstructs the fundamentals, including the correct muscular engagement to safely arrive in these positions and the rationale for why it matters. Of course, in addition to all of these fabulous pearls of wisdom, the book is also ridiculously fun to read. It's been lovingly garnished with the Shannon humor we all know and love.
Thanks, Jen. Cirque Physio is also featured in the book to give scientific insight into why it all works. Pick up your copy today by going to theartistathlete.com and clicking e-manuals. Listeners of the podcast can get a 10% discount by typing in the offer code PODCAST at checkout. Again, that's theartistathlete.com, offer code PODCAST. Now, back to the show. When you give your workshops, what is that experience like?
It is very good because usually what we teach in the workshops is something that we don't do in the show because it's more it's all related with the techniques. So it's not about clown, it's not about creation, but it's more about the techniques. So usually we work with performers, with actors, dancers. We teach the circus techniques of acrobatics, mainly handstand and partners acrobatics is what we focus more in the workshops, and we focus more in the workout, and so a lot of exercise and stretching and seeing tools that we think that will be very useful for everyone. Doesn't matter if you are a circus performer or if you are a dancer or an actor only. So all this technique will help you a lot to build your physical training that we consider is very important for everyone. So our experience is what we try to get to the people is that doesn't matter your background, everyone can learn something. So we feel this like we have these techniques that is not to end up being a circus performer, but to learn something new that will give you a lot of skills in your body and also in your mind to know how to move and how to use all the skill that you have in your body.
I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear your ideas because you say that you and your partner, you guys are clowns. What does
Yeah.
this mean to you? What is the difference between a clown and a physical theater artist?
Mm, wow. I think I don't know if
Dropping very hard questions now.
but it's good. It's interesting because I mean I think the clown, maybe it's not like, okay, what I am saying is the truth, but I feel like the clown has something related with the feeling, with the emotional. So it's like the physical theater actor uh, is more like an actor, so you are acting the character. You can be doing a comedy or drama, but you are acting. But when you are a clown, you are doing a character which is part of yourself. It's you being a clown. So I think this could be more or less the difference. When you do a clown, you are doing a character which will be your clown forever, even if this clown could have different states, or depending, you can use uh, your clown in some way in one performance, and then you can change your clown for another performance, but your clown will be always your clown, and it's something that came from very deep inside you. So, and that's why we always say that everyone has a clown. It's only that you need to push it out, but you have it inside you. So I think it's more or less from there where it's different in between an actor that you build a character and then a clown that you bring your clown from deep inside you to outside.
And how do you find your clown? Where do you go in with a flashlight deep inside of you and search around? Are there techniques?
Yeah, for example, both of us, we are self-taught in clown, so we didn't any workshop or we don't have this kind of background in clown. So we found it just doing, like performing and just like trying to find uh, how is my character, how will how I am going to dress my character, my clown, how I am going to make up my clown. So, and then what will be the attitudes of this character, this clown, and so only performing was how we were finding our clown. And with this process, I told you of the audience, so performing with the audience and discovering which are the scenes that make me connect more with the audience, or what is the timing that make me be comfortable on stage and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it is more or less clear.
No, this is wonderful. I always think these terms are so interesting, like people, especially if you're self-taught, because
Yeah.
like how the confidence to call yourself a clown or an artist when you've kind of invented it all is really, it's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Usually, what we do when someone asks us, like especially at the very beginning, we didn't know what to say. It's like you say, we didn't call nothing. But then, after many years performing, we had been with a lot of people that those people were the ones that put us the name. Like, yes, you are clown, you are doing clown. Yes, you are doing theater, you are on stage telling a story, this is theater. Or, yes, you are doing circus. So it's like this build us our name, or when we need to explain what we do, we know because some other people put us the name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you create and everything is like you are not saying, okay, I will create this and it will be this. You just follow your feelings, so you don't know exactly what are you doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets very dangerous when you start to try to make things with an idea in mind, I think.
Yeah, that's because, and I think it could be even hard because you need to follow some rules. But when you just let the things happen and to feel what you can create and everything, it's easier in somehow.
Yeah, because you don't have those restrictions of the
Yeah,
idea of what you've already got.
exactly. You can do whatever you feel and then try to make it work.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
So, I noticed you guys have a blog. When
yeah.
did that start?
That's everything started because of the audience that follow us. We travel a lot. We go to so many places, and we um, meet so many places on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people that we meet on the way, they want to know where we are, where we go next. So many people ask, "Can we follow you? Do you have a blog? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have something to follow?" So that was where the that make us to, okay, let's try to make a blog in our website, but then it's very difficult to get like a on day with that, like to make the post and put it
Oh, I
every
know.
week. Yeah,
It's so
you
much
know.
work. Yeah, I
Yes.
know.
So we try to do it still, but it's very hard. So every time that we can, we post something, even that is not what is happening right now, but we try to do it. So it's like we have the blog. Some people read the blog and get the newsletter, and they like to follow the tour in this way. Some other people just follow us in Instagram, and they say, "Okay, this here I have the latest news because we post like every week or where we are or everything." Some people follow us in Facebook, but it makes us to have a very diverse and huge community of people that follow us in different ways. Like some people only read newsletter and they don't like to use other social networks, so they follow us in this way. And like this, we get connected with with a lot of people and in different ways.
Ah, I never thought of it that way because I use Instagram a lot, but I don't use anything else.
And
But I never thought of this that like some people don't use Instagram, they use email or something
yeah,
like this. Ah,
yeah,
okay.
this because we have a very diverse audience. It's not only young people or childrens or families. We have a lot of people, and so yeah. At the beginning, we even didn't know about that, but
Mm.
then we were like posting at the beginning, only posting in Facebook, and then we said, but we have a lot of contacts in the email that they aren't in Facebook. So maybe we can do a newsletter. And we discovered that a lot of people that they are not our friends in Facebook, they reply the newsletter. So it's like, okay, we have a different audience here. So yes.
Nice. Do you have fans? Do you have people who follow you or come see your show or anything like
Yeah.
this? Yeah?
Yeah. We have even people that come twice, 3 times, 4 times to the show. Yes.
Wow.
And it happened to us people that they came in one city and then suddenly we are in another country or in another city and they go again to see the show and with more friends or they invite uh, families or what. Yes, it happened to us many times.
That's amazing. And do you have places that you return to yourselves? Like, do you have like, every September you'll go to Poland and do this one theater?
uh, Not like that, but we have
Okay.
places like where we return. Now we are in Romania for the second time after 3 years. The we were in Poland before, and also it was the second time that we were there. We had been many times in Mexico. We went to China twice, and now we are returning next month again, but to a different city. So yes, we always return to some places, but it's not fixed. It's like in our tour and in our life, it's very difficult to have something fixed. Like every December we are going to do this. No, every December we don't know what we are going to do. It's most like this.
I know how you feel.
Yeah.
And how far advanced do you book?
It depends, because some scenes we have fixed like 8 months in advance, and some other scenes just appear in the moment. Like for example, now we are going to Beijing, China, and we have fixed that. Maybe we go in August, and maybe October last year we fixed that. So quite in advance. But at the same time, tomorrow we travel to Turkey, and that was fixed just past week. So it was something that just appeared.
I see. And
Yeah.
do you have any kind of like rules or ideas of like if someone says, "Oh, I'm in California and I want to see your show," and you're in Romania, but you also have Turkey coming, will you fly to California for a show and then back? How do you arrange these kinds of things?
Yeah, of course, we are going to do that. For example, in December last year, we were December last year. We were performing in India, and from India we were in New Delhi. From New Delhi we flew to China. From China back to New Delhi. From New Delhi to Mumbai. From Mumbai to Sudan in Africa. And from Sudan back to India. So just all this in 15 days. So of
That's
course,
awesome.
if someone say tomorrow we want to see the show in California, for sure we will fly there to do it. We don't have like a rule like, no, now we are doing Europe, so maybe next year. No, if we can find a way to do it, for sure we are going to do it.
This is amazing. And so you've never taken a break in all of this time, in 15 years. You've never said, "Oh, okay, 3 months, we're just going to go sit on a beach."
No, but we don't say like this way, like, okay, now we are going to stop. But suddenly it just happened that, okay, we have these 2 weeks or this month of nothing, and it's happened to be in a beach or in the forest. So usually we have this break, but it's not something that we plan, but it's something that happened. So when happen, we just enjoy it a lot, because it's like, okay, suddenly we don't have nothing, and we are here in front of this beautiful beach, so let's enjoy it.
It's like the universe makes a vacation for you.
Yeah, and usually in the correct time, we can say. So we have, for example, last year we were in Kenya in a forest, so living in a very peaceful place, just in the middle of the forest near the Mount Kenya. So it was a very relaxed place. So we were there without doing a show for 1 month. So it was a very nice moment just to relax, go away to walk in the middle of the jungle and get lost there, enjoying the monkeys and everything, a lot of birds. So these places just came to us and we really enjoyed it.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah.
How very cool. Is there anything you don't like about your life right now? You sound like you have just an amazing dream life.
Yeah, it's like we really like everything, and I think it's because this is the life that we choose to do.
Yeah.
And so sometimes of course, we have to adapt. It could be something that is not like, okay, I was expecting a different thing. I would like to do this in a different way, but we just have to adapt to that, and it's not so hard. If you compare with other things, it's like, okay, at the end is something is not that bad. So that's why it's like maybe everything looks like to be like a dream. Maybe it could be that one week we have a lot of work and just say, oh, I would like to rest for one day, and we have to travel a lot and to wait a lot in the airport because the connection is long. But we just adapt to that, and we enjoy because we know that at the end this is what we choose to do.
Yeah.
And we
What's
are
your favorite airport? Do you have any favorite airports?
We have been in some airport like twice, 3 times. So, for example, South Africa airport, Johannesburg, is very like a friendly airport. It's a nice one to stay, to chill out there. We were there like a long time, and there is a good place to be. Also, in Colombia, there is a very nice airport where you can find very good seats, even to sleep. Which other? Frankfurt had a very good airport also. Yes,
I've heard Frankfurt Airport is really nice.
Yeah, it
Actually.
is big, and you can walk everywhere and find very good places to stay if you need to stay longer. Then, Dubai also is it's not like a good airport. It's like a very crowd, but you find places to stay, and it's comfortable for all that you need when you are traveling, like a good seat, a plug to connect the cell phone or whatever you need, Wi-Fi, and some phone to recharge your bottle of water. So like the basics needs in the airport.
Oh yeah, I have a travel question. What do you do for your cell phone? Is it an Argentinian plan? How do you do that?
Yeah, no, we don't have plan at all, but so we have it like free, and we put a SIM card, like prepaid SIM card, in the countries that we feel that we need. So not in every country. So when we are going to stay for long in a country, or when it's a country that doesn't have a very good Wi-Fi connection everywhere, so we need to have a data in the cell phone. So we just buy a SIM card, we use it, it's like prepaid, so we put money and this is it. We don't have any plan. And then when we leave the country, we just switch to another one. Or we still have our Argentinian SIM card with the numbers, but we don't pay nothing. We did it it was also prepaid, so we don't have any plan on it. Yeah, so we don't have like a route to any place, because even we have 2 phones, but my one, because I lost it during the travel, and then I bought the new one in Namibia, but the SIM card I bought it in Angola, so my number is from Angola. But
gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like life is a little bit like that.
What advice would you give to little Mariana at the beginning of your journey? In 2003, when you started, if you could go back and tell her something, what would you say?
Oh, wow, that's a very hard question. The hardest one.
This is the question I ask every single guest. Everyone.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I could say it's like just do it and enjoy it, but this is something which is happening, so it's like maybe I don't know exactly why, because sometimes of course during the way there are things that you would like to, maybe I would like to this could be different, or me I need to be in a different way. But also I feel like every single part is part of everything. So if I change something, then the next thing will be different as well. So it's better to keep it like this. and learn, of course. If you do something,
so this is good. You wouldn't give yourself any advice.
it's like
You would be silent and let little Mariana do what she's doing to bring her to you.
Yes, yeah.
Nice.
I think so, because that will put me here talking with you, and so otherwise it could be different, and I don't want to make it different.
That's awesome. I love this.
That doesn't mean that it was perfect, of course.
Of course.
But I like it with the perfect and with the imperfection as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. As I say before, it's a big pleasure. And I know many people will hear the podcast and they will feel inspired, I hope. So for us, it's very, very nice, and it's a good experience to have this opportunity to share this with you. And with you, I mean all the people listening.
Absolutely. I will keep following you and tell everybody where to follow you. And
thank you so
someday
much.
I'll come see the show.
Yeah, that's for sure, because we travel a lot, and the world at the end is very small. So for sure our path will cross in some place, and that will be awesome.
Oh man, I can't wait until I'm in the place to check out the Mandragora Circo show. If you want to see where the show is playing next, you can visit Mariana and Juan online at their website, www.mandragoracirco. It's Circo with an O, mandragoracirco.com. They have a really cool blog there and pictures and video of the show. And they're also on Instagram at Mandragora Circo. Just like in episode 15, I have to make my wrap-up a little short because of time and money constraints. And if you want those to stop, as I do, you should go to patreon.com/theartistathlete and give me money. But I do want to say that I think it is super interesting that Mandragora Circo didn't really worry about what they were making or what box they fit into in that month when they were creating this show. They just made something that they wanted to make and that came from their hearts. And as a result, they created something that was really universal. And when they put it on, that's when they got their title. They're clowns. I think sometimes when we're making something or we're doing something, we want to define the end result even before the thing exists. But as artists, our job isn't to define an outcome. It's to create a process. And Mariana and Juan understand this concept and are truly living it. Speaking of travel adventures, I will be in San Francisco for the entire month of August. I'm doing a teaching residency at SF Pole and Dance. So if you want to sign up for one of my classes, you can go to sfpoleanddance.com. Also, check out my Instagram account at @the_artist_athlete, because I'll be announcing various other workshops that pop up around the Bay Area there. And that's it for me this week. Catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Circulator. Oh, it's not gonna work. Man.